How to master trend lines and never miss a breakout again. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name is Neil, keeping technical analysis short and sweet, as always, starting with Bitcoin, controlling the market, having that pullback, trying to build a little bit of support within this area. But overall, I expect an upward projection as we have a lot of buyers down here and people who have missed opportunities to enter at 108. Moving right over to Flare. Flare is looking pretty good in my opinion. What I would say we are seeing is something like this. Inverse head and shoulders. Tested that 200 EMA. Could be forming the right shoulder. And then once we break this 0.026, we can expect that upward momentum. 618 is here at 0.038. Keeping in mind we were in a downward channel, or essentially bull flag, and what we could do with the bull flag, let's check the price range potential. Right up there, right into the 618 around 0.036. About 52% potential increase once we break that 20 or 0.26 area for flare. And if you're getting even a little flare, you can stake it with your XRP and earn passive flare in the future. Not yet, but it's a good option for flare being so cheap, and integrating with XRP, it's all a very good bet. LCX, I've been looking at LCX for the past couple of weeks as we were trying to hold support above that 200 EMA. We do have this downward trend line where we had that quick flash above, but ultimately closed underneath this trend line. And this upward black trend line is more of our support. Could we see a retracement really quick like we did right here? Yes, that is a possibility to grab some liquidity. Overall, I do think LCX, as well as almost all the rest of the altcoin market, will be going up when Bitcoin finally gets that new high. But this needs to break that downward trend line and hold that stability over that 200 EMA for LCX. It does have a very high probability of going up, and it is a very good utility token, so keep it in your radar if you have not entered yet. DIMO, not looking the best, not even going to talk about it. Torn. So I've been talking about buying Torn since 750. You can trade it on MEXC, reference link in the description below, and free 10 USDT if you use that link. We have a major pullback with the rest of the market, which is typical, but also healthy. We are testing the CM guppy. It hasn't closed beyond that, so it's still pretty bullish. We could have a pullback like we did see here. When it did go through the CM guppy, it had a major support. But there is news on Tornado I showed in my other video where Bunny Exchange was hacked for 8.4 million in losses, and they could not track the person because they used Tornado Cash to wash their cryptocurrency and send it anonymously to another wallet. So even though that doesn't sound all great, it seems very beneficial for washing currency. That pullback is not just from them using Tornado Cash. This is mainly from Bitcoin having that quick reduction in price, pulling the rest of the market down with it. We are still above the $11 mark, which is essentially the major support, and right where the 200 EMA would meet. So everything's still very healthy in Tornado Cash. Moving to XRP. Got a lot of these to go through. Zooming in. 200 EMAs coming up. The wick off showing major support within this area above $2.60 more or less, and trying to create higher lows and get out of this downward channel that we were in. We are working within this downward channel as a few days ago, but we broke out of that. It could be a false bear trap and start moving upwards. Very nice and slowly would be ideal, because we don't want to run away from that 200 EMA and then have a quick pullback. That is a possibility, but it would be better to see a slow consolidation upwards towards this 3.39 and break that all-time high before it ultimately takes off and the 200 EMA has to stay down low while the price runs to the sky. You can stake XRP in the future on some platforms right now, but passive income just from holding money currently at $2.81, and expected to be 10,000 by 2030, which we have seen happen with Bitcoin. So nothing is impossible. And if you are stacking at this price, congratulations. It is not financial advice, but very good idea. XLM trying to get back within that wedge, similar to XRP, also holding above the 200 EMA. We want to see it close above this downward wedge. However, if it does not, we could see this play out within here and then start that consolidation upwards, similar to XRP. HBAR, same thing. Entering the wedge, 200 EMA, XDC. Long consolidation period, strong support just off of this wick right here. And on the 200 EMA, it's riding the 200 EMA and it's about to get pushed up and won't have anywhere to go but to break this downward trend line. 618 here at 0.09. Real resistance at 10 cents. And beyond that, there's not a whole bunch of resistance until 15 cents. So not a bad bet. Stack a little bag of that, see what happens. But not financial advice. Floki meme coin. Meme coins aren't the best investment, but it does have potential if it holds above that black trend line. Dogecoin, let's go. Major pullback. But if you missed your opportunity at 21 cents, now is your better opportunity here at 23 cents. Could we see a little bit more? Yes, but the 200 EMA is starting to push Dogecoin up and up. So we can expect higher highs for Dogecoin from roughly this point, in my opinion. Toshi, let's go. Major W in the bigger pattern, major retracement, rejection off this downward trend line. And you may have another opportunity to enter back in down here if this support does not hold. If it does hold above this, we could expect that retracement back towards that downward trend line. Giga, I believe this had a pullback. Yep, still nothing to look at. If you're trapped, I'm sorry. Kind of wait and see on that one. Polygon, everything's just getting slaughtered. And lastly, BCH. From my guy, Larry. Larry, this is what we're looking at for BCH. This is a Gaussian fan. Just for a little bit of an indicator. We see that it crossed through all this stuff. This is irrelevant. But in this blue area is kind of the range that we could expect this to be playing out within. Ultimately, it needs to get above 718, and once it does that, this may be a little bit of resistance around here. Over here on the Fibonacci, we see that $1,000.46 is the 618 retracement, which is entering into this 1/2 area, this blue range. So once we get past this line, we could see a range within this area up to 1400, but ultimately it needs to break the 718. All references in the description below. Like and subscribe if you have not, and good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.